swallow, which should be ugali by now, okay, the swallow will now be swimming inside the soup as you're eating it, and they are enjoying it, and the soup is drawing like Miranda. Like, what is wrong with these people? Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to Linda's Reality TV. If you are new here and you haven't subscribed, kindly consider hitting that red subscribe button and getting yourself subscribed not to miss out on any of our future uploads. So guys, in today's video, as you can see from the title, it's very exciting. We are talking about some Nigerian foods that I found strange, some I found so sumptuous, so delicious than I expected, and some I found so weird. I don't know. I'm lacking words to explain, but yeah, that's what the video is about. So let's dive right into it. So guys, the first time I traveled to Nigeria, I found some foods that were weird. Maybe weird in the way they look, or the way they taste, or the way they go about making them. Okay, so as a Kenyan, you guys know that most of our veggies are just like strong veggies. I don't know if you understand strong, okay? Strong, like if it's kales is just strong. If it's spinach, it's strong, you get. But in Nigeria, most vegetables are draw soup. Draw, you know. We have, if you do what is that called? Obono. Obono is so drawing, like, and before it is made, if you look at it, it looks more of seeds, it looks more of dried, what is it called? You see that avocado, inside the avocado, it looks like that. The pieces that ball inside the avocado seed, and then they hang it, they dry it, it looks like that. But when they cook it, it becomes very draw. So that was very strange to me. And then egusi soup, they're just seeds, and then they grind these seeds, and these seeds look like the inside of what? There is one plant in my village, that plant is not food, it's actually poisonous, but it has a pod like a bean, and then when you break that pod, or when the pod breaks by itself, it brings out the what is it called, the seeds. We call it in my dialect siala. If you're Luo and you're watching me, you know what siala is. So siala seeds, I'm not saying it is siala seeds because they are called melon. But it just looks like that. And then the fascinating thing about it is when it dries and they grind it, it turns white. And then when you cook it, it looks like egg. You know, before I travel, I used to feel like anytime I watch egusi soup, I used to think that they used to do egg. They used to put egg inside the soup, and then they will now come and be mixing it with things like meat, fish. So when I now traveled, I now realized that, okay, it's no egg. In fact, it's a totally different thing. So there's another food I found very fascinating. The third food I found very fascinating was cubia fish. Yes. So, you know, on these whitey streets, you normally watch people cooking, like Nigerians who are based abroad, they're cooking fish, and you'll see them cooking scubia fish, and you won't know. So in my life, ever, I never saw scubia fish like eye to eye, like with my koro, okay? According to our Nigerian brothers, I never see them koro like this. So when I saw scubia fish for the first time, I was even scared to prepare it. I was even scared to eat it because it has colors. It has black and white. It looks like, the body looks more of a snake than fish. And then when I now went to Nigeria and I saw people cooking, my sister-in-law was using it to make soup, my brother-in-law was using it to make soup. Everywhere people were just using it to cook. I said, let me try. When I tried, this thing was sweet in another level. It actually ended up becoming my favorite fish. Can you just imagine that? And at first, it was so fascinating. I was just like, are you serious? Are we safe here? Are you sure we're not eating snake? And you know, some Nigerians do eat snake. Like I have my husband's friend, he used to eat snake, and the snake is being sold very expensive. They don't just cook it anyhow. They cook it when there is a very special occasion that they are celebrating. They will now cook snake. Guys, this is happening. You travel so that you can see, okay? In my local dialect, you say, "Wotekine." You have to. It's almost as if waka make you the cities. You get? So I was so surprised that people can eat snake, okay? Yeah, so another food that I found very fascinating in Nigeria is banga soup. Guys, that soup, it has work. If you want to cook it, just be ready. You people think that preparing chapati, or some people call it flat bread, is stressful. You haven't seen stress until you do banga soup. Before you boil this one, you come and be pounding it. You mount it back on fire. It will produce oil. I was like, why are these people going through this stress? These people are going through a lot of stress to make soup, and it's very tiring. But again, when they've cooked it, it's sweet. But another strange thing about that soup is that when they cook it today, it's not even sweet. Let it sleep. The next day, when the soup will now thicken itself, mostly when you do banga soup with catfish, that is where you now enjoy this thing. Then you come and use it to like eat with what is it called? Pounded yam. Poundo yam, actually. Pounded yam is like real, like the yam, they cook it and pound it. Me, I don't like that one. I like poundo yam, the refined one. It's very sweet. And another thing I found very strange is that Nigerians like to put their, they call it swallow. You see, like ugali and skuma. In Kenya, we like ugali will be in another plate, skuma will be in another plate. Whether it's spinach will be in another plate with some meat by the side and all that. They don't do that. They like to put everything inside. They will now take this, their soup, put it in a plate. Then they now take this, their swallow, which could be either of eba, fufu, poundo, or semolina inside. They mix it in the same plate. So the swallow, which should be ugali by now, okay? The swallow will now be swimming inside the soup as you're eating it. And they are enjoying it. And the soup is drawing like Miranda. Like, what is wrong with these people? Can you just separate it? Okay? And another thing I found so weird was that they mix their soups. Okay, now in Nigeria is where I first learned that you can actually make a pot of soup that has meat, fish, chicken, goat meat, cow meat, crayfish. All of these things are in the same soup. And it's very sweet. From where I come from Kenya, we do not do that. If you're cooking chicken, it is chicken. Even if you want to make variety of dishes, do a pot of chicken by the side, do goat meat by the side, what is it called? Intestine, matumbo by the side, do cow meat by the side, do fish by the side, do omena by the side. You get. Them, they don't do like that. It's one pot. This pot has cow skin, it has meat, goat meat, it has cow meat, it has chicken. Some people will even put turkey inside. It has crayfish, it has fish, either scuba fish, stockfish, dried fish. It has everything. It's a whole lot. Like, and surprisingly, it was suiting me. I don't know if it's the food that was suiting me or it was the marriage that was suiting me. I don't know. But somehow, I adopted to it. And yes, right now, anytime I'm in Nigeria, I also cook like that. I also enjoy to have my egusi soup with stockfish, dried fish, meat, crayfish inside. Another thing, that crayfish I'm talking about, crayfish looks like, you see those omena, dirty omena that we used to pick and give to chicken to eat in Kenya? Yes, crayfish looks like that. Actually, let's just say that's it. The uchafuza omena, you get? Yes, those ones. So that crayfish, I used to hate it so much when I first went. But they kept making food with it until I fell in love with it. Can you imagine? Guys, in this life, I think nothing actually is poisonous. It's just different cultures. They just wake up and claim that this one is poisonous and people will stop using it. That crayfish, if you blend it, you put it inside red oil, your soup will be thick. You see the way here, if you're making chicken, maybe meat stew, beef stew, and you want to thicken it, you'll now take a paste from chapati flour and thicken it, or maybe you'll use Irish potatoes and thicken it. There, if you want to thicken your soup, just grind crayfish. It does it perfectly just well. So another thing that I found very fascinating was making eba. Guys, do you know that this eba of a thing is cassava flour, and you actually need to make it down from fire? Like what you do, just boil hot water. After boiling hot water, you off the fire. You now take this hot water, put it on a bowl or a bowl, depending on your English teacher. It could be a bowl or bowl, whatever. Put it to something, and then you just make it from down. Can you make ugali from down? Like you heat hot water and then you put ugali down, you off the fire and start making it, and it makes it safe and you eat. That's something I found very weird and fascinating. When I first went, I used to still do my eba on fire until I realized that even the ones that they did out of fire, it was tasting the same and they were still eating it. It was eatable, you get. So you do it down, then you cover it for some time, then you come and do it again, then you pack it and you eat. I was surprised. Another thing that actually really fascinated me was the fact that Nigerians like to share a plate. In my father's house, everybody have their own plate. You can only share ugali, which in their side they call swallow, okay? But Nigerians like to share a plate. Imagine a visitor will come. You people will just like, a visitor will come and visit you. You people will just like put a big bowl of that their soup that is mixed with everything. And it's draw. Most of their soups are drawing. And they will not be sharing it in the same plate. And all of them will be eating. And because the soup is drawing, like mrenda, all of them will be eating, licking their hands, and still dipping it in the same plate and sharing. Like, what is wrong with these guys? I don't get it. So even in my house, when my relatives came to visit me, I used to give everybody their own food because it's irritating to me. Just because where I grew up from, that's not how we used to do it. That's not how we used to roll, you get. So it used to be very, very irritating to me. But they're used to it. They're not even irritated by it. They are used to it. Even Nigerians in Kenya, if they visited each other, they'll be sharing food from the same plate. If it's rice, they'll put white rice here, then they'll put stew in one plate, then they'll be collecting rice from the plate, putting in the stew, they'll be sharing it. I'm like, how do you guys do it? I don't know. I think that is one thing that I could never have learned. One thing that I will never ever learn. You get? I don't like it. Because one thing is, I don't like when somebody eats and lick their hands. From where I was born or from where I come from, it's very, not actually disrespectful. It's just lack of manners, lack of basic table manners, lack of basic table etiquette. I don't know. I'm not saying this to bash Nigerians because they grew up like that. Okay, you know, like for instance, when you grow up in a house that people are always fighting, it becomes your normal. The abnormal becomes your normal, such that when you get married to somebody that doesn't fight with you, you feel that the man is not okay. The man is not normal. You'll be praying that, why is he not fighting me? Shebi, marriage is supposed to be about fight, you get. So that's it. Nigerians are used to this thing because they grew up like that. It is in them. They wore it like a cloth and they cannot remove it. And they glued it on this. And then another thing I noticed is that their semolina and Kenyan semolina are very different. Kenyan semo is very easy to make, but Nigerian semo is as thick as chapati flour. Another thing I noticed is that they actually do chapati flour as ugali and they eat it. Can you do that? I remember when we were growing up, when mommy mixes chapati flour with hot water and it becomes a dough, if you say, "Mommy, let me taste," she will say your stomach will pain you. But these guys are actually making it like ugali, they're eating it. These guys are making it like ugali and they're eating it. They're downloading it and their stomach is not paining them. Another weird thing I came across was they cannot cook any food without pepper. They cannot cook any food without pepper. They have red pepper, black pepper, Cameroon pepper, Ghana pepper, Indian pepper. They have pepper, all types of pepper that you want. Pili pili. Their food must have pepper. And those their soups, if they don't have pepper, they are not sweet. That's another thing. They are not sweet. They ought. Pepper ought to be inside. Yes, guys. So these are some of the Nigerian foods that I learned about. And I found them very, very, very fascinating. And I felt I should share this video with you. If you are longing to go to Nigeria, or if you have traveled to Nigeria, comment down below. Let me know which kind of foods you're longing to eat when you reach there. And which kind of foods, if you have already traveled to Nigeria, which kind of foods fascinated you, which ones you found weird, which one you liked the most, and all that. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. Please subscribe if you haven't, and let's meet in our next video. Bye.